It's time for some hostile therapy.
Now, I'm going to bring up something I hear a lot of people talk about when we bring up stuff that does seem to matter, like Will Smith, August Alsina, and Nick Cannon, Breonna Taylor. I want to say it because I know people will say, well, this is not worth talking about when we haven't arrested the killer, the policemen who broke into Breonna Taylor's house and shot her in the middle of the night and killed her, broke into the wrong house. On top of that, we still do not have the murderers in prison yet. So this is very important. And right. I want to tell a story of why we need to keep her name in the news. We need to keep talking about her on social media. And I'm going to bring up the story of Mary Turner. Have you ever heard this story about Mary Turner from Georgia? Okay.
No, please elaborate.
Okay. Mary Turner, and I think it was 1918, was a black woman. And let me give the beginning of this. There was a plantation owner named Hampton Smith. And he took someone out of prison under the peonage system, where if someone went to prison for a petty crime, they could bail them out and make them work their debt off, their lease pretty much for a year, 2 years, whatever. They work their debt off on their farm, work them as hard as they want to. Hampton Smith was known as a harsh plantation owner. He didn't care about the conditions he had black people working under. And he had someone, let's see if I got the name right, Sidney Johnson. Sidney Johnson was one of the people he bailed out. He went to prison because he was rolling dice, which was, I guess, illegal at the time. Petty crimes, like I was saying. And his fine was $30, which is not enough now, but it was a lot back then. Sidney Johnson ended up killing Hampton Smith in an altercation, and he fled the farm. So group of white people, I've heard up to about 500, were looking for him. And they couldn't find him at first. And in the midst of finding them, they killed several other innocent black people that had nothing to do with this, including the husband of Mary Turner. She protested and wanted justice for the murder of her husband, who was tortured and lynched. So the white people heard about this in the town, and they chased after her. And she fled. But eventually, they caught up with her. And when they caught up with her, they tied her up. They tied her upside down. And another part I just forgot to mention the story. At the time, she was 8 months pregnant. 8 months pregnant, and they set her clothes with her in them on fire. And it's not even as worse as it really gets. Now, they set her on fire, and then someone came with a knife and cut her unborn child out. The baby fell on the ground, let out 2 cries, and some person came up and stomped on the baby, killing it. And after that, even after this savage treatment, animalistic, some of the things that Nick Cannon was actually talking about in his speech, they shot the body over 100 times after she was dead, took her down and put her in an unmarked grave with a bottle of whiskey, which now they don't know if her body was moved since then. She really doesn't even have a grave to this day because they don't know if her body was exhumed and moved somewhere else. And justice was never given to her because it wasn't fought for, because people were fearful of reprisal in the Jim Crow days of the South in Georgia. So with that being said, keep Breonna Taylor's name in the news. Keep her name on social media so she does get the justice she is so needed of having.
Right.
Do you have something to say?
That is so disturbing in so many ways.
Yeah. But most people talk about the Hill story. This happened about 30 years plus before that. It's not mentioned a lot of times in
And
history. Say that again.
What year was it again?
I believe 1915 or 1918. One of those years there.
Wow.
She was only 20 years old, by the way. Not that it really
I don't
matters.
care what color, age, I don't care none of that.
Yeah.
That is a whole nother level of psychotic. That is a whole nother level of what they consider to be privileged or empowered of who they thought they were. They played God
Yeah.
on so many levels. And
Only because she protested her husband getting killed. Not because she committed a crime or anything.
yeah, it was because she protested. It was because she's Black. It was a lot of stuff in between there. But
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
woo, this is the reason why I don't believe in ghosts. That is the reason why I don't believe in
that too. Yeah, I was talking about that too. I'm like, of all the people who have been burned, lynched, hung, shot to death for unjust
There's no way
like
in here you won't get me to believe in ghosts and tell me that none of my ancestors came back to whoop somebody's ass.
Yeah, right.
There is no way in hell you're gonna get me to believe there's such thing as ghosts, and nobody's come back for any ass whooping in between there.
Right.
Not all of them make it to heaven according to y'all book.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me that nobody's getting revenge on the motherfuckers? I'm sorry, that's bullshit. That's why I can't believe in ghosts. There's no possible way. And I kind of hope there's some type of reincarnation for people of that nature, and I hope they come back as one of them forsaken dogs in the ghetto that gets tied up to a rope in the backyard getting fed leftover corn at night.
Mm-hmm.
I just have so many ill thoughts that shouldn't be present for people that no longer exist. And hopefully their mentality has died down a little bit. It's not fully died down. Obviously, it's still KKK out there, but people of that nature, like the torture that I would personally put them through if I could.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Lord, talk about putting relaxer in their eyeballs and rinsing out with peroxide. Oh my.
It's crazy that these are supposedly be human beings that did this to another human being.
But we shouldn't be upset.
Why not?
That was years ago.
You're being sarcastic. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yet they're mad about a flag that represent the Confederacy that only lasted about 5 years. An inanimate object that requires wind for it to even move.
Let me tell you. I have yet to go in anyone's house and see a picture of their ex-boyfriend hanging up on the rear because that was a part of their history. Kiss my ass with your history. Your history was fucked up. I've yet to go in someone's house and be married, that someone that they married together and see a picture of their exes up there. Your history is fucked up. Let it go.
Right. I totally agree. But people want to be mad. Again, selective anger. Selective outrage.
Exactly. Selective outrage. That's exactly what it is. They pick and choose. Oh, that's our history, blah, blah, blah. Well, we have history that we don't want to bring up. I have yet to see these houses go over for sale and say, you know who lived here? Marilyn Manson. You should buy this shit. The fuck
Right.
no.
Right.
No. So let's not pick and choose what makes you feel good because you felt like you were told this by your great-granddaddy, but your great-great-great-granddaddy owned my people. So let that shit go if all lives matter. Or is it just what you choose to matter? Oh, wait, blue lives matter, but I thought all lives matter.
Yeah.
So are we selecting?
An outfit matters over someone who's particular color and born with that.
Right. You're more concerned with someone being patriotic versus being a human being. But, all lives matter.
To see this and more of my content, go to my YouTube page at Hostile Therapy with Big Red. Click, like, and subscribe.